supposed to be a separate item that gets added, which you would use as ammunition. I need to make that. That just a general full. I guess it would be a consumable. Create new item. Yeah, it's trying to it's trying to target Spirit Stone charge because you don't have any in your inventory as ammunition. Those are different. Those are the item charges. No, no. Mm, I hadn't really even thought into that kind of situation because you're spending charge of the stone to do damage, and you can also use bloodstones. So in general, you shouldn't run out as long as the party is killing stuff. Um, Alright, so if I go to this. So now I go to no property and I add in. I'm gonna delete the. Well, I'll just edit this version. Empty blade, activation, consumption. I got it. First. A spiritual charge into nobody's inventory. Right. And then I just target. Right now, it's targeting your ink bottle because it wants to eat your ink bottles. But because you only have item. There you go. So, alright. Right now it has a large stone from its creation in there, so you should be able to do it now. Hey, you can choose not to consume, or I can just. So if you click on the item, then you click on the ability you want to use, which in this case is empty blade. I'll choose not to consume. 2020 plus your spell mod plus 1. Okay, makes your normal roll. Yay! And then I should be able to go in here and roll damage. Oh, did it? The damage isn't on there. The damage should be on there. Alright. Play. Okay. Okay. Alright, let's try it one more time. Void Seeker. Empty blade. Do not consume. Use ability. There we go. Ah, I see. It popped up ahead above it. So it's big damage. A normal sit roll just 1d10. Why is it not adding more? Yeah. What do I have to do to get it to do that? Okay. Alright, at mod plus 1. So a little bit of macros, you know, just a little bit. no consumption. Use normal roll. Will you hit? Damage. What? Is it? Oh, I think I know what I just did. I put it in the wrong part of the effect. I added it to hit. So +1. So I have to add at mod +1. And, and, and. There we go. Custom magic items, woo. As opposed to finding one that works. I'll get those spells added eventually. Oh, and you should be able to cast the spell effect from your spell book as well. It should be in there somewhere. So it should be like corruption something. It didn't pop up. Okay. Well, it's fine. Up to your proficiency bonus. So you can't have the Flame Tongue Sword Sword, the Void Seeker, and the ball gown. Is the ball gown a 2? Oh yeah, I just, man. Void Seeker is just the first thing I came up with. You know, you can change it, rename it. You can name it it's Scary Staff. Ooh, if you want to. Zayden, son. Those rocks need to be moved onto the concrete so that we can go in and rake the crash and everything. And Faith, no, he cannot play your Switch. He's still grounded. Remember, he's still grounded as far as I know, from being on games and everything. So no, he cannot play your Switch. Faith, Zayden is your brother. Unless that's something I'll have to get confirmation on that. I'm editing these items so that they actually have their function and stuff. You're tuned to 3 out of 3 right now. Everyone make sure that you're not over-tuned. Alright, you guys ready? Alright. I was going to start with the Darby and Dobat since they were outside, or I was going to start with Mana. So, here, I got a Super Mario coin. I'll flip it and see. The bomb, it's going to be the Mana. The Super Mario, it's going to be the Dobat. Alright, we'll start with Mana. Because that's the coin that I had next to me. I have one of my son's coins. It's a Super Mario coin. On one side is a bomb, the other side it just says Super Mario. You gotta go down the warp pipe. Alright. Alright, as an aside, before we get to start, people complaining about Luffy's sound effects in Gear 5. You're still there. You've been trying to catch up for months. Okay. It is one. The second half of Wano is one very long fight that never feels like it's gonna end. But you're there for the really hype moments. You're there for the Sanji's fight. You're there for Zoro's fights. You're there for all of the samurais. You're there for all the samurais fighting against Kaido. That was an awesome fight. Yeah, but it was the part of the fight that we got to see before they were, dying. And bef- they were doing their best, yes, and they held Kaido down for a little while. Anyway, their attacks dealt their attacks dealt they dealt physical damage. He bled a little bit from Kinemon's attack. I but what I was saying, people who complain about the sound effects have not been watching the show, because Luffy has had those sound effects since episode one, and only he has these weird sound effects that stand out against everyone else. But yeah, no one's talking about that part. Yeah, we're almost there. It, mm. All right, I'll be right back. You saw how you saw how easy Shanks was able to get boxed with some of the like. I knew he was something when he walked onto Whitebeard's ship. Well, is if the thing is part one Shanks wasn't supposed to be as big of a character. If you Oda has even admitted Shanks was originally he was supposed to be just Luffy's he's um inspiration. But we'll get but anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Yep, sorry. Alright, look, so Mana, you're flying over the city. Um Give me a investigation. Alright, last session, y'all went to the bar. Bakari sat there and ate her snacks. Adarfi, he met back up with her new friend, and then probably got upset at her new friend for making decisions that didn't seem to be the best decisions for her life, but it, she's still trying to, she's grappling with the fact that her friend took the easy road rather than in going and working hard towards having her dream accomplished. Is um the party is getting found Kevin Aston again. Everyone's favorite hit, hit summoner. Everyone loves Kevin Aston, right? Yeah, and they're currently getting him drunk. He's escorting a princess, who is hanging out. Well, who's being escorted by the Lord Commander of the army for this city state, and those. Sorry, sorry. Who is everyone's favorite big guy? Kareem and her cousin are no. See, if everyone had participated in the sound off, I would have noticed that. Yeah, but nobody other than John said anything. So and nobody else said anything. If I heard from John and Gary and Sarah and everyone. All right. Anyway, it, the rest of the party, everyone sort of gathered at the Crossword Roads bar and pub. To everyone has to visit there at least once when they're in the city. So they all ended up there. Um, Lord Commander ordered a round of the good stuff for everyone, and that was pretty much the whole session there. And the Dorothy stormed out, Bobat left out. Mana went back to the wagon, and to spend the rest of Scoff Day with his adopted son, um, and found out that son, and along with everyone else at the wagon, it had been captured. A very unhelpful guard heard for the stables was, kindly informed him of such. This that Now Mana has taken to the air and is searching the city for any sign of Soren and and his missing compatriots. Yeah, so I was asking you for an investigation or perception. Mm, sir, I'll give you a dad bonus of a +2. Alright. You're flying over the city. Well, no. With an investigation, you're flying low to the ground, following routes that you would think would be the best routes for that Zoran would take. Ones that stay enough out of the public eye that you know, they won't catch suspicion, but not so much that's off of public roads that they could you know, that they look too suspicious. And that's when you find them. Little marks made on the ground, tiny little arrows carved by something not sharp but strong. You realize they seem to be hoof marks, like little scuffs. And where those fell, something. You see little other marks um, that you can't really interpret. But you've seen similar symbols those around port cities. There seems to be some. Go ahead. Um, Not really. There's mostly like kind of symbols that you would see near places where people of ill repute would hang out. It seems like between being Calliope and Dea, that had created some sort of they had created some sort of route or ways of they seem to be independently doing this, but they it seemed like they both realized that they were in a situation that they couldn't necessarily fight their way out of. And they went in with a plan to sort of guide you guys where they were going. And all the routes lead to a strange doorway. He, in it's at the back of and it seems to be like some sort of a small bank, but it's not like um, the people going in and out the front. Um, they seem to be exchanging goods for currency, and like looking inside, the window, you will see that they have stuff on display. They and you see that there's a gold scale kobold called manning the desk. Yes, and they seem to be appraising goods that come in and giving out, you know, currency in exchange for those goods. The path ends with a doorway that's behind that shop. And over the doorway, you can see a very distinctive and familiar mark. It's the same mark that's on the coin that you guys found before. It's a small one-story building. Um, the only window is the one at the front of the store. Well, there's smaller windows on the upper part of the walls, but they're too small for a person to crawl through. They're mostly just to they're mostly just to let in a little bit more their natural light. Probably like 1 foot by 1 foot little window openings. Um, the building does have a cooling tower. It's basically just a small tower sticking out of the center of the building that has all these different terracotta uh, squares and blocks that allows wind to go in, and, and it gets cooled off before it goes down into the building, and then the warm air exits out the other side. Um, let's see. You'd be a dove. No, yeah, much closer than that. You're only a couple of streets over from where the Crossroads Inn pub is. Um, cheese. Currently inside would be Nissa. That would be the only other one inside. And then outside, Dobat and Dorothy are both outside. Mm. But when I had that crossed out like you had, it changed your mind. Um, no, Nobody would know that Zoran is someone that well, nobody would know that Zoran is someone that most of the people in the party aren't really fond of. Well, so Dobat scene would be happening prior to this, so we'll do Dobat last since he's outside. So What would you to do upon hearing this? Like just beamed into your brain. Yes. Um, no. You see, the kobold gets into this argument with this hobgoblin, and like there's a very rotund and bald orc that also works behind the counter there, who's like it seems to be arguing for the hobgoblin too, and the kobold like begrudgingly he gives the guy the like a small oh, bag of coins means for like it to you it doesn't really look like much. It looks like a signboard of some kind. Mhm. Um, right. When you touch the lock, like your disguise ability, is it a magical or a physical ability? Okay, so you feel something go over you, like it's something, some kind of magic or something was dispelled. Well, and then you'll see the where you would normally see a peephole. Well, a golden eye will open up, look around, see the pigeon like sitting on the door handle, will stare for a good long second, and then close. Um, with your investigation, you can passive investigation. You see that there's a door knocker and a bell ringer here on the door. Like there's a string that you can pull that will ring a bell inside. But there's also a door knocker on the door. And you just saw that there's some sort of uh, um, thing that there's some sort of effect that will dissuade illusions or any magical changes that have been made to someone's appearance. Um, no. Alright. Go bad. Yeah, the gate open like as you're waiting out. We're going a little bit back in time. The as the gate to the lower district opens wide, they you'll see a small procession of soldiers and dancers and musicians is all will playing music, dancing, singing, chanting, he- and just all various things, just talk, like singing the praises of Scoff and singing about the love that the king has for the city. He, um, and you'll see the on a palanquin being carried by probably about 20 people. You'll see the three distinct figures. You'll see King Urbandizer. Um, oh, I don't know if I sent you guys what he looked like before. He's they he's a goblin. All right. So the first thing you notice about him is he looks like he spent a lot of time fighting when he was younger. Or, like just judging by his scars and the blemishes that he tries to keep hidden, and he's grown himself out a very luscious pink beard here. But the thing that he can't really hide is his broken horn, and he has two horns is adorning his head, but one of them has been broken off. He carries a very large war bow on his back that he does not seem to be. He like it seems. It looks like it is still constantly used, but it's not really. Doesn't seem to be. You feel like this person hasn't been in battle recently, but judging by his demeanor, you can tell that he's someone that spent in a large part of his life fighting. He has pink fur on his leg, his one leg. The other one is a peg leg. Like, pink hair that's been braided into a single large braid down that goes halfway down his back. And his beard and hair are adorned with all manner of decorations and jewelry. He he looks like a small green and pink Santa Claus almost. I'm trying to. How do I put this? Um, he seems to be chortling very happily. He he very and he's throwing silver coins out to the crowd. Next to him is the, the small a small gnomish person. It, they're not really sure their their gender, their, but they're wearing very strict uh, military uniform. They look very professional. Well, they seem to be some sort of chief strategist. And the tallest of the three on top of the palanquin, he is he probably almost 6 foot tall, oh, mm, figure wearing these dark blue robes that sort of cover every part of them. Their face is covered in a veil. Their head is covered in hood. And they, in all aspects, have hidden their body from the sunlight that to the point where you cannot discern any features. There's, and they seem to be just waving their gloved hand, and occasionally he casts prestidigitation and just get some oohs and ahs out of the people. Um, but when their hood crosses is your way, they pause. They bend down and whisper something to the king, and then they sort of vanish from the palanquin, and you feel a presence behind you. You have my teacher's mark on you. Curious. How did you come across something like this? That seems to be impossible. Alright. Little over a year ago. No. Hmm. Interesting. Very interesting. So, my teacher yet lives. If, that could be that could prove problematic. Well, someone of her strength and caliber in this day and age could easily overthrow many city-states. It can cause a lot of issues for the status quo. Oh, so she did pass on. That is good to hear. There were many seeking her demise, these, especially after Lord Ribedo decided that all of their teachers, students, aside from him and his mate, were too dangerous to be left alive. Why would she want such a thing? And you find her trustworthy enough to assist her in this endeavor? Uh, Foolish this endeavor will always come from a foolish wish. Let the past stay in the past. I've lived all these centuries and have not at once thought too hardly about that past. Just why do people like you seek its soul? What separates you from the beast is far less than that. Even in a civet can be curious about the whereabouts of a hydroboa. Even in a lowly crocodile or swimming and wading in the current can wonder about when the next gazelle is going to step into its maw. I cannot stop you. It is my requirement to aid any that know the truth and seek it. But I will warn you, if you should go in there, you are only to get what you came for, not to unleash what is concealed there. Then you did not need to know. Your quest is folly, but as I cannot go against my teacher's wishes, I will tell you who, what you must do. Should you should you desire your, the secret it's within, you must give your whole body and soul to the wielder of that blade. And once you have done so, you will pull the blade free and unlock the tomb. It is best for as many allies as you wish to survive the coming storm to receive the blessings inside that tomb. Can you tell me what is it that she seeks there? Um, she said that there's something there that she needs to complete a project, and that you will know what it is when you get there. Then this world is close to bearing witness to a great danger. Be it good or bad, I cannot tell you, but dangerous nonetheless. Be careful. My teacher made many enemies in her life, and a few allies she had she betrayed without a second thought. The one that helped her build that seal oh, oh, was a great man, and him and my teacher have solved many of the world's problems if they had worked together. But instead, she betrayed him, thinking that he was going to betray her, and all he ever did was love her. Oh, so you know the man I speak of? Oh, he yet lives? That shouldn't be possible. My master destroyed him body and soul. You would know. You would know that they did something. I suspect the Noxians are involved in. They have been sowing in word, word, word. Um, they have been sowing in in. Sorry, I have to. Sorry. Lord Santos is that did these mechanical wonders, and he's been quite taken with them, spending many hours there's discerning their creation. It's dangerous for a deity to be consumed with constant gathering of knowledge. Possibly through the same metric I am, the, the curse mark that you hold upon your body. It it bears a portion of her soul branded onto you. It's dangerous. You say this now. Sadly, should such a time come, you will not have the ability to eat your own words. How do you feel about the war? Yes. These two city-states have been fighting for a long time. And, um, before they were part of the original empire, they were fighting. Eh, And after the original gods were when the original gods and the current gods were fighting over this land, these two city states picked opposite sides and were fighting then. And afterwards, they have continued fighting. And nobody, he, yeah, revenge upon revenge, things upon revenge. Everyone accelerating, being getting faster, more powerful. Everything gets stronger as time goes on. Why do you think Lord Xanthosis allows this to continue? The um, god that rules over the desert. Um, you would know he. I, I had it. It's written in one of the pin messages on the Trials of Nebu. Um, Lord of Shifting Sands. Yeah, Cat Boss. Lord of Shifting Sands. His Yeah, Xanthosis is his title. I've been here for centuries, It's- since the early days of this conflict. I feel that the only reason why eh, this war continues is because it's useful for something, for someone. Tell me, have you heard of the Dragon Sovereigns? Yeah, Lady Red Skull mentioned that her son is the child of one of these sovereigns, these Dragon Kings. You haven't met the child, you've heard of one. Well, the Dragon King of War or, exists somewhere in this desert, but has he has not revealed himself in millennia, and not since the days of the Dark Kings has the Dragon King of Conflict shown themselves. Why?
Why would there be a never-ending war that, that no one can break the cycle of if that Dragon King isn't involved in some way, shape, or form? Maybe. Here, take this. So just wanted to hand you something. Uh, it seems to be an invitation of some kind. You, this dinner is most likely the most important thing this war has for it, going for it. If you and your allies attend, you may learn a thing or two. If Layla has put her trust in you, then you're either her only hope or there's something else going on. And she's going to vanish this again, but she doesn't return back up to the Palanquin. This would be around. This will be around the time they nobody would be sending you the message. All right. We were just talking about him earlier. Well, remember, Dragon Kings aren't gods, but they are pretty powerful. Hmm. Well, you guys have seen the desert around this place is basically dyed rust red from this war that's been going on for so long. They Kevin, they're currently getting Kevin in drunk, and you're walking up to him, along with the foreign princess. Yes. So nobody. Go ahead. Well, before that let's see what Adarpi is going to say to Kevin Ashton and the princess that's with him. Okay. Okay. Let me look at my notes. What will all right. Um. All right. And I know what Hareen was going to do. Too. Uh, uh, she's gonna stop you. Can, I'm sorry. I, I truly am sorry. You- I know that I met that I made a mistake. Cassine being said that I was being dumb taking this deal. It seemed too, like he said, it's too good to be true. Just a fast track to get in the position, but it's it's not uh, something I can. It's not something I can say here, but I did want to invite you to come talk with me eh, later. I'm staying in the palace. There's a dinner, and I I wanted to at least invite you to that. It's a really important dinner that they gave all the guests of honor or um, little tickets that we can invite 8 additional people if we wanted. And the king is basically holding a big celebration banquet. It seems like Lord Xanthosis has sent something to the city, which he seems to think is something that's going to that puts this city in his favor. I don't know what it is, but I want to talk to you there, or either there or after that. It, so just give me some time. Hey, I'll work something out. Um, The ancient one can they can be negotiated with, I think. You have no idea. She's her, her and Aaron have been dancing around this sort of the concept of this elder, this person that's above Harim, that seems to be above Harim's own father, who is the king of Nehustan, no, of Arun. And so there shouldn't be anyone above him, but you also still know that there's the head priest of the temple there, who seems to be weird and mysterious as well. And both of you met them, the that weird Harangon, and that and you remember the uncomfortableness you felt being in their presence, and the ease at which they were able to revive people. There seems to be some power in that city that's older and mm, above everything else. What's wrong? Oh, go to the potty, man. You're hungry a little bit, but you just had a such a big dinner. Why are you hungry? Hmm. Let me give it a listen. Hold on, Melissa. Now, what are you hungry for? See, that's what I thought. So you want a snack? You had ice cream already. You had ice cream already, didn't you? You're not gonna get ice cream. You're not gonna get ice cream. If you're something, go get a sandwich. Ask space for half a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. All right. All right. Sorry. Almost done. All right. No, they need to. They need to experience the joys. Uh, mhm. It is still relatively early in the day. It's like midday because it was like early in the morning when you guys got here. So the dinner isn't it? The dinner, yeah. There's a lot of early like drinking going on today. There's a frog on the window, so there's a lot of drinking going on today because it is scoff day. People who don't have scoff day dates are, they just wander around and just somehow end up at the Crossroads pub. Nobody will be sending the message around then. Yes. Nobody will just beam it straight into your noggin.
What kidnapped by the Noxians? But why would they do that? What could they be after? You told me before that. Like, you told me before that Zoran's like the boss of these masked people. Yeah. Hmm. I I understand. They speak. They always speak of power. But even the princess over there sees a hero, like y- with a capital H hero. She was one of the ones that defeated that Leviathan. It, she's one of the reasons why the Noxians are even here. She's, from what I've heard, her and her group are they're powerful enough to take on the, the like the, the extremely dangerous kinds of enemies. He's even challenged the gods if they get strong enough. And think I think they I think they there is some sort of plan. I've been trying to get close with her and sort of figure out he, what she really wants. From what she told me, she has a friend that come that is originally from this continent, and that him and his sister were taken from here. Her- She says that she, she says that she's trying to find a way so that they can come back home.
but I don't know what that means. Like, shouldn't he have the power to just say that they're free and that they can come back here? This seems off. Someone in such a high position and with so much power to not be able to do something that they want to do. Uh, who knows? It might be it might be a good idea. It might be a good idea to figure out uh, if someone as powerful as her, who's the princess of an empire, who can't get done what she wants to get done, that it might be um, there might need to be something more fundamental that needs to change about this world. Maybe my original dream isn't. She seems. Well, the problem is she's unapproachable. Well, the few conversations we have been, you know, sort of co-conversations with the Lord Commander. Eh, He makes everything approachable. Yeah, that's also a part of the reason why I haven't talked to her one on one. Yes. You should have saw the look on his face when we first met back up. It makes your skin. Well, when I got to the city he, yesterday, I was just essentially being told that I wasn't the only the visiting royalty. That we had visitors all the way from Knox, and the first thing I see is this small girl with a visor on and Kevin. I have no way of knowing. The thing that scares me is if she does, that she still chose to come, chooses being around me. I wish Kasim would had talk with me, but he seems. I haven't even seen him since we got to the city. He looks up and looks around. He's he's not there anymore. I guess he probably left when I came in. he's always supported me, no matter what. But I guess this was the last straw. When my uncle came out here for his first tour, he took 500 men and out here. He lost not a single woman, and he was touted as one of the greatest military minds of our generation. But since he retired, but how am I supposed to do that? That he had soldiers that he had trained with since he was a small boy, people that he had that that known their fathers and trained their children. I have to get I have to find a group of people that are going to be able to listen and understand me, regardless of what's going on around them. Well, how are we supposed to learn if we don't learn from the past? If I make a mistake, that's walk your stuff out. She looks down at her little paws. I think I always think on my toes. I don't know how else to think.
Oh yes, your friend, didn't you? Uh, yeah, I can come with you. I've been training. Yeah, rub at it. It it cut you off, baby. It cut you off. I didn't hear everything you said. Um, nobody told you that Mana said that it was Zoran's group, a group of masked individuals. Do you think Mana would wait that long? Yeah, he's on the third. They're on the third round of free drinks at this point. So, you guys, I'm guessing you guys are gonna all meet up with Mana. It's a wisdom save, I believe. I have it written up. Let me look. Wi- Yeah, wisdom saves, DC. These vary based off of the level that you have. So that has a medium level. Yeah, any spells that, basically any damaging spells are spells that can cause harm in any way, shape, or form, or anything that you do with the intent to cause harm. Alright, Mana, give me an Arcana as you're trying to crack how to take this peace bond off. Well, you said you wanted to completely remove it, which is different than deactivating it. Alright. As you're working on the magical circuits, you realize that there's an alarm spell placed on the cuff if it is to be removed without the proper um, key, so to speak. So if you physically remove it, it's going to notify someone somewhere that it's been removed. Where, how, or like it has an auditory portion where it's going to make a sound from the cuff itself. But you also know it's going to notify someone somewhere in the city that it's been removed. And you have no idea how close or far that person might be, and how long it would take them to come find you afterwards. You can also tell that it does read it whenever it's been deactivated. So it keeps a record of that. But it seems that that's not transmitted. So it seems like it's only going to that anyone that can read the magic circle, which there probably is some way that they can do so. They will be able to tell that it's been deactivated. So you will know that you can guess that maybe the people at the gates might be able to tell, but you don't know for sure. Not with that roll, but if you get some assistance, you probably could. Hmm. I'll say, hey, over that entire 10 minutes, You would have to revert. Well, I said it comes with you when you transform, since it's just a physical transformation. I'd say as long as you're transforming into a form of, thumbs and stuff, you can do so over the next 10 minutes. It'll still take a Arcana check to break it fully, but it'll be a lower DC than it would be normally to just break it. Uh, Everyone's here. Da 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 da. Plus Hareem. And her cousin Aaron. We see who? Oh, the Lord Commander. No, no. Al Qasim. He's always just out of eyesight. The stealthiest orc in the history of this continent. Hello, I am here to. Here, I followed because it looked like fun. Oh yes, yes, we will definitely be upon you within minutes. Hello, I'm also authorities. I am Aaron. Aaron Maroon. Hmm. That sounds like a plan. One is enough, honestly speaking. That's not how it works here.
I mean, I'm part of the military police, technically. Why would I have a breaching charge? I do have a stick of dynamite, by the though. I'm not giving it to you though. Why don't why not try and seek entry some other way? I mean, this is Gold Crown's exchange store. Or, I mean, very reputable business if by my by the standards of the city. They exchange. Hmm. You could let the you can go in through the front door, but we're at the back door, so uh, the Marine team pipes up. Um, well, the- if you have a way, like usually stuff like this is, they have some way to identify themselves, like people in certain organizations, like a secret knock, like or they're a token of some kind that allows the. I mean, that's a token of some kind. Are you gonna use the knocker, the ringer, or you just want to grab the handle again? Mm, no, everything's warm. You're in a desert. Worn, and um, the the hinge for the ringer seems to be well worn. It seems to be. You can tell that it probably goes to the inside and just lets people inside know that there's someone at the back door. It seems to be used fairly often. The ringer. Okay, you poke it. It doesn't really do anything because you have to pull it to make it make noise. It's a ringer. It's a pull handle. Okay. The You guys are gonna watch as a gold eye appears on the door, looks around, then looks down at the bird with the coin. It's the eye is going to dilate, and then it's gonna reverse dilate and get down to a pinprick to the point where it disappears and all you see is gold, and then you'll see a red crown emblazoned on the door. Or um, you don't hear anything. You just see the door is has the crown emblazoned. Um, it doesn't seem to be unlocked. Yes, there's nowhere to insert the coin. You have the pool ringer, the handle, and the door knocker. Okay. You pull it, and after a while, oh, the the door opens, and then that gold cobalt from the front opens the door. Uh, what's going on back here? Like he looks at the bird, looks at the rest of y'all. You didn't say you were hidden. Oh, oh yeah, you did say that. That what the? You're not supposed to have that. He's gonna try and grab the coin from the bird. He's not. Oh, he's not leaving the doorway. He still has his hand on the door. He's just reaching out for the bird with the coin in its mouth. Ow! Well, he's gonna pull out the like a fly swatter and just shoo, and then he's gonna reach down, pick up the coin. Where'd it go? I'll let False know one of his coins got picked up by a dumb bird. Okay. There's there's no space for you to slip inside. Hey, where? How are you? He's a he's a kobold. Yeah, he's a guy. Hold on. He is a kobold. He has the door cracked open, and he is not leaving the doorway. That that's the situation you're in. It would not be a good idea to try and slip past this guy a, into the building in such a manner, especially if it's going to separate the group potentially. Um, nope, it's an empty back room. There's like various things. There's no like there's solid stone floor, nothing that you can, and nothing of note. And Cobalt sort of walks over to the safe. He checks to make sure that it's locked. And then he heads back to the front room. And when he heads back up there, the um, half orc comes back here. And he's just sort of hanging out, uh, watching. He seems to be watching something. being being in like uh no, he's not gonna be watching something. He seems to be like evaluating different things in the back area and putting prices on them. Um, the slingshot. I mean, Junior has a very distinctive hat that he always has on. Um, you can. Meanwhile, those of you outside will notice that when the door was open, the symbol and the eye and everything disappeared from the door. There. And when it's closed, all of those things also stay disappeared. You see no markings, nothing. And like even the dust on the floor, that you can tell that there's that these guys go on a fairly standard pattern. Like there's parts of the floor that have dust that's probably be weeks old that they just haven't walked in yet. That just they go from thing to thing. There seems to be no evidence of Dea or the Calliope these markings here. But you do remember there were markings just outside this door. It's only a physical change, so I get if well, you're not a bird that has the ability to make human-like noises. uh You're a crow or a raven. No, it's not like the druid. It's basically a just physical transformation. So I guess you would be able to still speak. It's not like you have a voice box in your normal form anyway. The half orc would pause. I was looking at a very strange ship in a bottle. The one's supposed to be back here. This is where we keep the inventory. I don't know how you got back here, but and if you're looking for someone and we ain't seen no one, the only people we see are our customers. People who are bringing us the shipments of goods. So he just sort of, without turning around, just gestures through the crates. Gets goods.
It's the truth. We run a simple little operation. It, Mr. Gold Crown supplies us with goods. It's that we can barter with and trade with. Smith supplies us with funds. The people who do bring us those things come to the back door and ring the bell. We get them. I have no reason to lie to whoever this is. Heard the name before. Not a customer, no. Nope. Don't get many of them around these parts. Either one of both of us answer the back door. It's whoever is available. Mana hasn't seen them at all. Thank you, son. I love cards. Thank you, son. Give me it's a perception. Alright. And a Darby is locating objects for the hat, right? Alright. It'll be a perception. Alright. Um, for a Darby, you don't sense them near you. And what was nobody using the tech dogs for? You can hear the thoughts of the guy inside. You can, and Mana and uh, you can hear the thoughts of let's. All right, let me go down the list. Let's start with the customer at the front counter. He's thinking, think, no, this decorative faucet my grandmother left me is worth way more than 5 copper. It has to be worth a silver at least. He's the the cobalt is like I could sell this his face for like 5 gold. The- um, but the more important ones are what would Lana's surface thoughts be right this moment? Um, the the half orc in question is like, this is way above my pay grade. It I don't even whatever this thing is better hope that they can survive this shotgun blast. This um I don't even know what they're talking about. I don't deal with people. We only deal with people who ring the bell. So as he finished, like after he finishes sort of explaining what he explained before, he's going to, to touch something on a crate, whip around um, towards the sound direction where your voice was, and he's going to attempt to. Yeah, yeah, you can, and there are those tiny windows above that you can slip through if you would like to. No, Mana, he's not a duck, he's a pigeon. As the he, let me roll something. As he turns around and pulls the trigger, and you just hear a click. God, out of ammo. So, as Mana, I'm going to assume you're going to vacate the room. All right. Um. All right. You get. You're going to regroup with everyone else out back. Um. Nobody. Are you going to convey what you heard in the guy's thoughts to Mana? So Mana, you heard that he has no idea uh, you're what you're talking about, and they only deal with people who ring the bell. Your curse mark, you can sense and sense everyone near you, but you also get another sense from the north of you, deeper into the central district of the city.
There's a there's a pull handle outside the door that it rings a bell inside, but their door also has a knocker on it. Yeah, they rang the bell. That's why the kobold came out earlier. Um, when you do the knocker, it makes no noise, but the eye opens up, looking around. That holds up the coin. And the same thing happens where the eye dilates and then it reverses, and the door gets the symbol, and you hear an audible click. You you pull the you it'll be a push. You push the door here, and Mana, you see a completely different space on the inside. Yeah, because you didn't knock the knocker. Yeah, the well, it has to function as a regular door for regular business purposes. You can't have people coming up to your back door, knocking the knocker, and just seeing a magic eye appear on the door. They're gonna tell other people. That's gonna be weird. And then people are gonna ask questions, and rumors are gonna start. But yeah, but most people aren't going to just try and walk into the back room of a business. Is yeah, you guys is enter into the dark rooms, and that's where we're gonna end off for this week. Yeah, you were already in the back room. Why? They're just running a legitimate business. Did you move those rocks?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. This- Like this, the amount of times I rewrote this puzzle to try and make it as simple as possible, we still took almost an hour on it. It was originally gonna be like so many other different kinds of puzzles. And I was like, no, I gotta make this quick. I gotta make it simple. It's a door with two ways of letting people know that you're at the back door. Or one's a essentially a doorbell that lets everyone inside know that you're there. Who would, if you're trying to stealthily sneak into a place, who would pick that option? And then the other's a door knocker. Okay. Mm, thank you. They're running a legitimate business. Why would they be thinking that you're, like, you guys are thinking very eh, darkly, like, yeah, we're gonna rob these guys, beat them up, and turn over their store just because as they they run a pawn shop. What else would they be doing? Sure, they might be money laundering. That that's completely different than human trafficking. You know, like all the monster movies where they have a laundromat. There's always that one guy that's just really into the business side. They're just like they legit just wanted to run a laundromat. It's just his their cousin just so happens to be a mob boss that needs to launder a bunch of money. They're just doing it for the love of the game. They wanted to open an Italian restaurant for since they were small little bababoos, and now they have their chance. But kobolds don't get a lot in this world. Can't you just let them have their business? Kobolds deserve to be happy too.
Was it Venom Fox?
The kid has been napped. Well, it might be too close to his bedtime. You don't want him to nap himself soon. How could they do this? They didn't release a Kagurabachi the chapter on my birthday.
おやおや おやおや
So, yeah, just
おやおやおやおや
sorry, I was writing notes. I have not been listening at all. All right, just let me know.